tested.
For the past 6 weeks, I've been testing the Droid Incredible. It's an Android-powered smartphone released on Verizon's network earlier this year. It's designed by HTC, makers of the Evo 4G, Droid Ares, and Hero. HTC is also the same company that worked with Google to create the Nexus 1 Android phone. And as you may know, the Incredible and the Nexus 1 have a lot in common. Actually, to be honest, they're about 90% the same phone. But it's that 10% difference that really differentiates the Incredible and makes it a better phone than Google's flagship model. Let's start with the similarities which lie in the phone's base specs. The Droid Incredible has a 1 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor and 500 megabytes of memory, just like the Nexus 1. It also sports the same 3.7-inch 800 by 480 pixel AMOLED multi-touch screen. There are a few things to note about the screen though, which, like on the Nexus 1's, is bright and vibrant. Even though Samsung supplies the Incredible's panel, it's not the same as Samsung's Super OLED display, which they're saving for their own Galaxy phone. That means the Incredible still suffers from the same sub-pixel pentile matrix problem found on the Nexus 1 screen, which results in fuzzy text and color fringing, although it's only really noticeable if you scrutinize the display. It's worth mentioning that demand for these OLED panels is so high that HTC might start shipping Incredibles using Sony's new Super TFT LCD. Verizon says there should be no noticeable difference between the two display types, but in our experience, OLEDs offer better image contrast than LCDs at the expense of visibility and sunlight. If you're buying an Incredible, make sure you know which panel type you're getting before ordering. Since our test unit is the OLED version, we can only recommend that model for now. Rounding out the guts in the Incredible are an accelerometer, compass, GPS receiver, Bluetooth with A2DP stereo support, and a Verizon-compatible CDMA radio. Nothing really notable here. Let's move on to what makes the Incredible's hardware unique. The most obvious difference is the industrial design of the phone body. While it's sturdily built, I thought that the plastic shell felt a little cheaper than the Nexus 1's two-tone gray frame. The flush front bezel is also very prone to fingerprint smudges, so keep a microfiber cloth handy. But the design difference is most noticeable on the matte back of the phone, which is a bit of a contoured bulge. It makes the Incredible about a millimeter thicker than its Google counterpart, though they both weigh the same. And though it took me a little while to get used to the design of the back, over time I found that it made the phone really easy to grip. Sure, its edges aren't as sleek or smoothly bezeled as the Nexus 1, but the Incredible doesn't slip out of your hand quite as easily. Another minor but noticeable difference is the design of the 4 control buttons on the bottom of the screen. The capacitive buttons are arranged in a different order than Google's phone: home, menu, back, and search instead of back, menu, home, and search. But more importantly, these 4 off-use buttons are the more responsive on the Incredible and are better lit as well. The improved placement prevents accidental mashing, a common complaint on Nexus 1, and the haptic feedback on these buttons also gives a more pronounced jolt on the Incredible than the Nexus 1. Additionally, the navigational joystick is now a trackpad instead of a trackball. I personally prefer the trackball nub on the Nexus 1 because it gives you more granular control over panning and scrolling across web pages, but the optical trackpad is just as accurate. Unfortunately, neither the trackpad or the trackball will wake the phone from standby mode, something iPhone users are used to. But that's an Android software decision and not a design fault. The Droid Incredible also comes with 8 GB of internal flash storage compared to 512 MB on the Nexus 1. Both phones have a micro SD slot that supports cards up to 32 GB, but the Incredible doesn't come with one included. But these differences are peripheral compared to the Incredible's best feature, its 8 megapixel camera. Photos and videos are shot with a proprietary app, which allows user control over exposure, ISO, and white balance. Pretty amazing for a camera phone. Tap to focus works well and doesn't take too long, and you can take a shot by depressing the joystick button. There's no on-screen shutter button like on the stock Android phone, which is a bummer because pressing the physical button can sometimes blur your shots. You can tap the screen and hold to focus and then take a shot, but that method felt unpredictable and left me with blurry pictures when shooting on the fly. The dual LED flash is very serviceable, though I took better photos by pushing the ISO up to 1250 and touching up later. Daytime photos on the automatic mode look great, though you get the best results at night by tweaking settings. The Incredible isn't good enough to replace a nice point-and-shoot camera, but it will do your spontaneous Kodak moments justice. Likewise, video quality is good and was improved over a recent over-the-air update. The Incredible can now shoot 720p HD video, though the bitrate and frame rate still can't compare to a dedicated video camera like a Flip HD. Speaking of this latest software update, the Incredible now works as a mobile hotspot, a feature previously limited to the HTC Evo 4G. Sharing the 3G internet connection over encrypted Wi-Fi works as advertised, and the signal was strong enough even when connected devices were in an adjacent room. The caveat is that Verizon charges $20 a month for this feature on top of your existing data plan, and still limits shared data to 2 GB. As with the Palm Pre Plus, enabling mobile hotspot decimated battery life. USB tethering is the other option for sharing the data connection, but this also incurs a monthly fee and requires that you use Verizon's Wireless Access Manager software. It's really not worth the hassle. Finally, the Incredible sets itself apart from the Nexus 1 by utilizing HTC's Sense UI interface. This is a custom modification of the Android 2.1 OS that reskins the phone dialer, adds a better home screen widgets like clock and Twitter, and replaces some of Android's default apps in the keyboard. In general, I like HTC's versions of Contacts, Mail, and Calendar more than default apps, and the included FM radio app activates the FM tuner built into the phone, something still not accessible on the Nexus 1. The Sense UI home screen also scrolls more smoothly than Android 2.1, though it's not as smooth as 2.2 Froyo, and therein lies the problem with the custom build. You won't get OS updates when Google releases them, you have to wait for HTC and Verizon to roll it out. For the Incredible, Verizon has only said that the Froyo version of the Sense UI won't come out until later this year. Battery life isn't all that impressive on the Incredible either. While Google's Larry Page claims that you should get a full day of use, the Incredible barely lasts the full day on regular use before the phone shuts off. That's typical use without being obsessive about killing background tasks too. Getting a car charger or aftermarket battery is really required if you don't have access to a midday charge. We know that the Incredible isn't a new phone. It's been available for over 2 months, and there are newer Android phones like the HTC Evo and Droid X. But I think the Incredible offers a sweet spot for Android. The 3.7-inch isn't too big as to make one-handed use uncomfortable, and it can actually fit comfortably in your pants pocket. Verizon's recent over-the-air update has given it some of the same functionality touted by newer models too. Between the Nexus 1 and the Incredible is clearly the superior phone. But if you're considering the Evo 4G or the Droid X, my recommendation is to get your hands on each to see if you really need that extra screen space. For Tested, I'm Norm Chan. See you next time.